Friends, what if I told you tonight that Iraq may be standing on the edge of one of the biggest financial shifts in its modern history? Contracts worth billions of dollars are being signed, gold prices are moving upward, the dollar is slipping, and even digital currency strategies are rolling out. Many people have been waiting and watching for years, asking the same question over and over. When will Iraq's currency finally break through into international markets? Well, tonight's news gives us several clues that something powerful could be unfolding. Stay with me through this entire update, because by the end, you'll see exactly why the atmosphere around the Iraqi dinar is filled with excitement and anticipation right now. This may not just be about numbers and contracts. It could be about the complete repositioning of Iraq's role in the global economy. Let's start with the headline news. Iraq has just signed contracts worth $1.3 billion with the International Finance Corporation. For those who may not be familiar, this is the private sector arm of the World Bank, and their goal is to channel private capital into developing countries. Iraq secured 7 contracts aimed at energy, infrastructure, and housing. Why does this matter? Because contracts like these are not about aid or charity. They represent confidence. Confidence that Iraq's economy is stabilizing, that its projects are worth funding, and that international investors believe there will be returns. Each of these contracts is like a vote of faith in Iraq's future, and when we see deals this large, it signals a turning point. But that's not all. Prime Minister al-Sudani revealed that Iraq has attracted over $100 billion in investments over the last 2 years. That number is staggering, especially when you realize that just a few years ago, much of the world viewed Iraq's economy as unstable and risky. This wave of investments isn't coming from just one place. It includes both domestic and international sources. That means people inside Iraq and investors around the globe see potential. Al-Sudani emphasized the role of international consultancy paired with Iraqi expertise in shaping these projects, which suggests a blending of global knowledge and local experience. This creates a much stronger foundation for long-term economic restructuring. Now let's talk about gold, because gold is often seen as a safe haven and a signal of where economies are heading. Reports from Baghdad and other Iraqi markets show that gold prices edged higher this weekend. This may sound like a small detail, but gold movements in local markets often reflect the level of confidence in national currency and stability. When people move toward gold, it often means they are positioning themselves for protection or anticipating changes. With Iraq moving toward contracts, investments, and new projects, the rise in gold prices adds another layer of intrigue. Could this be part of citizens preparing themselves for a bigger financial event? Even more telling is the news about oil and gas. For the first time in over 3 decades, Iraq has launched drilling in the Khafri oil and gas field. Energy has always been Iraq's crown jewel, but for years, untapped resources have been left idle due to conflict, sanctions, or lack of proper infrastructure. Starting new drilling operations signals 2 things. First, the government is serious about developing its resources, and second, foreign and domestic partners believe it's worth investing in. Oil and gas revenues have always been tied to Iraq's financial potential, and this new drilling project adds fuel, literally and figuratively, to the speculation that Iraq is preparing for a bigger economic transformation. And here's another signal: the dollar prices are declining in Baghdad and other cities. That means the US dollar is losing hold compared to the Iraqi dinar in the local markets. For over 20 years, the dollar has dominated Iraqi trade and everyday transactions. If this trend continues, it could show that Iraq is slowly transitioning toward using its own currency more confidently. Remember, no nation can claim full sovereignty if it relies completely on another nation's currency. If Iraq is truly stepping into a new era, this decline in the dollar could be the first visible sign of shifting reliance back to the dinar. Now, let's connect this with the concept of the digital dinar. Reports suggest that the central bank is working toward implementing a digital version of the currency, currently holding around 121 on tracking metrics. This is significant because digital currencies are no longer science fiction. They are becoming the backbone of modern banking systems. In the US, for example, stablecoins backed by Treasury reserves are being tested. Ripple has launched its RLUSD, and other organizations are tying cryptocurrencies to traditional assets. Iraq stepping into digital currencies is not just modernization, it's preparation. It positions the nation to participate in the global financial system on a much larger scale. Why is this so important? Because a digital currency allows for faster, more secure, and more transparent transactions. It also means Iraq can reduce its dependency on the physical dollar for settlements and trade. Imagine a scenario where Iraq uses a stable digital dinar backed by its oil, gas, and other resources. That could completely transform its ability to do business internationally. It's also worth noting that digital currencies give governments better oversight on money flow, taxation, and fraud prevention. So, when you connect the dots, contracts, gold rising, dollar slipping, drilling projects, and a digital dinar, you see a picture emerging of a nation preparing for something much bigger. Some of the most respected analysts who follow the Iraqi currency closely are pointing out that timing is everything. They suggest that Iraq is waiting for the perfect political and global financial moment to launch its reforms. It's not just about the currency, it's about making sure the launch happens in coordination with international systems. We've already seen how delays in the past frustrated investors, but this time feels different. With multiple systems, traditional banking, digital finance, and oil-backed wealth, all aligning at once, the sense is that Iraq is carefully positioning itself to avoid missteps. We can also see that international relationships are shifting. For example, the U.S. Congress recently revoked war authorizations related to Iraq, signaling a move toward recognizing Iraq's sovereignty more fully. While American troops are still present, the dynamic is changing. Iraq is being nudged to stand on its own 2 feet, especially when it comes to its economy and currency. This aligns with voices inside Iraq calling for independence from reliance on the US dollar. For over 2 decades, Iraq has leaned on the dollar as a crutch. Now the message seems clear: it's time for Iraq to build confidence in its own exchange rate. Experts are also talking about fundamentals. Iraq isn't just sitting on oil wealth, they have non-oil resources, taxation systems, e-signatures, banking reforms, and customer verification systems being built out. These are not the kind of moves a struggling economy makes. These are the foundations of a strong, functional financial system that can interact with the rest of the world. Some analysts even compare Iraq's situation today with nations that restructured successfully in the past, using resources and smart timing to leap into stronger positions on the global stage. Let's not forget the human element. Citizens in Iraq are increasingly aware of the potential of their own currency. The frustration of operating under the shadow of the dollar has been real, but now there's a sense of national pride emerging. Leaders are openly talking about the need for Iraqis to rely more on their own dinar and less on foreign currencies. If this cultural shift continues, it could strengthen the momentum for a full return of the dinar to international circulation. That's not just economics, it's psychology, and psychology is powerful in currency markets. Meanwhile, Iraq is also strengthening its role in regional trade. Plans are underway to link ports with Oman and expand trade routes that will integrate Iraq more closely into Middle Eastern and global markets. Moves like these are not random. They are part of a carefully crafted economic strategy. By becoming a hub for regional trade, Iraq ensures new streams of revenue that do not depend solely on oil exports. Diversification is the name of the game, and that diversification makes the case for a stronger currency even more compelling. If you step back and look at the big picture, what do you see? You see Iraq securing billions in contracts, attracting massive investments, drilling new oil fields, launching digital currency initiatives, witnessing a decline in the dollar locally, and strengthening trade routes. Any one of these developments would be noteworthy. But all of them happening together, that's what makes this moment feel historic. For those who believe in timing and alignment, The pieces are clearly falling into place for a major financial transition. Of course, there are still questions. When will it happen? How will it happen? Will the dinar float on international markets, or will there be a sudden revaluation? Different experts have different views. Some suggest that the transition could coincide with updates to UN operational rates, which often take effect mid-month. Others argue that Iraq may prefer to wait until broader political or security conditions stabilize. But regardless of the exact timing, the fact that so many steps have already been taken is hard to ignore. This is also about global context. Around the world, we see financial systems shifting. Cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, central bank digital currencies, and gold-backed financial products are all being tested. Iraq is not operating in isolation. It is stepping into a world where digital finance is the new normal. If Iraq successfully launches a digital dinar, while strengthening its oil-backed reserves, it could leapfrog traditional systems and emerge as a leader in hybrid finance. That's why the news of Iraq's progress is getting so much attention from analysts worldwide. At the same time, ordinary investors and everyday people following these updates are filled with anticipation. For some, the Iraqi dinar represents years of patience, prayer, and belief in a wealth transfer moment. While no one can say with certainty when the shift will fully materialize, the alignment of contracts, investments, resource development, and digital finance creates a sense of inevitability. It's no longer a question of if Iraq will transform its economy, it's a question of when. So as we close tonight's update, here's the question I leave with: are we witnessing the early signs of Iraq's financial rebirth? The billion-dollar contracts, the $100 billion in investments, the rise in gold, the slip in the dollar, and the digital dinar all suggest that something extraordinary may be just around the corner. Friends, stay alert, stay watchful, and stay encouraged. History often turns on moments just like this, and Iraq's story may be about to change forever. Comment below with your thoughts, share what you're believing for, and let's keep watching together as this journey unfolds.